And we're live.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in on To The Point with
Skip.
and the King. You guys know where to find Simon Broder. Do I really need to pull up the book? You guys know where it is. Running the Point, Amazon.ca, SimonBroder.com. Oh, Skip.
Playoffs. Are we talking about playoffs?
Of the year. Oh, yes, it's the playoffs, baby. I hope you, Toronto Raptors fans, are just as excited as we are for the Toronto Raptors to come back into this bubble and defend their championship against any other team, and especially when the American media is saying they don't have a chance to do it. That's a load of crap. Come on, Skip. Are you just excited as I am?
Well, I'm not as excited as I was last year, that's for sure. But I'm definitely down to watch the playoffs. I want to see them defend their title, obviously, and it'll be a fun ride.
So, speaking of your Toronto Raptors, not mine, your Toronto Raptors.
Only for last year, they're yours, right?
They were for a bit. I'm telling you, get rid of your ambassador. I'll be a fan again.
Well, there's no Drake in the bubble.
Yeah, only virtual fan crying in the shower. I don't care about that. Skip. What I do care about is the Toronto Raptors clinched, like we said last time, they clinched the second seed. They're going to be playing the seventh seed, which is the Brooklyn Nets. Wow, they've been pretty haunting the Raptors for the last couple of years. They've been a formidable opponent. What do you think about the Raptors going after the Brooklyn Nets this year, Skipper?
Well, first of all, they have not been a formidable opponent since Paul Pierce and Garnett and all them retired. There was one year, way back in the nascent days of these Raptors when they lost one series to the Nets. There's not like a long-standing rivalry. They've been trash ever since then. So I think most prognosticators, and I'm going to go with them, are going to say there's going to be an easy series for the Raptors. I have them sweeping the Nets. A part of me thinks that Caris LeVert's going to go off and steal one game, and it's going to be a 5-game series. But let's be honest, these Raptors have never swept a series in the playoffs in their entire history. And as defending champs, I think they're going to come out and they're going to prove that they can sweep somebody. And so I think it's 4. It's 5 at the most. I think it'd be a fairly easy series. I looked on 538 actually, and the Raptors have the highest percentage of chance of getting through to the second round of all the teams. They're at 99%, and Milwaukee's at 98%. Even though the Raptors, even though 538 doesn't like them to get past Boston and Milwaukee, it really thinks that this is going to be.
We're not going there.
Yeah, it really thinks this is going to be a slam dunk series. So anyway, just to touch on this series. So Brooklyn, obviously, they came into the bubble. They were kind of a joke.
So you say 4 games?
I say 4 games, yeah.
Okay.
So just to get into Brooklyn a little bit. So they came into the bubble. Everyone was laughing at them. They signed Jamal Crawford. They had nobody. They didn't have Katie, Kyrie, DeAndre. Dinwiddie sat out because he had coronavirus. So everyone thought, oh, they're going to roll over. They're going to be a joke. The Magic going to pass them. But they've actually held their own pretty well in the bubble. They went 5-3. They almost knocked out Portland. They came 1 point short, or 2 points, I guess. And Caris LeVert has really shown out. He's a real star. Jamal Crawford, I looked it up. He's only played in 1 game, 6 minutes, so he's been a non-factor. But they've really relied on their scrappy guys. They've got some guys. They've got Jared Allen who can block some shots.
Love that guy.
They've got Joe Harris can make threes. Timothy Luau Cabarro, however you say his name, he's just kind of there. He's just kind of a guy that gets. I don't know what he is, but you hear his name a lot, right? He gets buckets. He does things. So they just got guys that do things, and they'll be a little bit scrappy. They'll probably make some games close. But I mean, come on, it's the Raptors. They went 7-1 during the bubble without even trying the last half of the games. They played amazing defense, best defense in the entire bubble. They did kind of struggle on offense, specifically Siakam. I'm a little worried about Siakam. He's got to stop pulling up for those threes. He's got to start playing inside out. Hey
Hey man, you can use that excuse for Siakam that bronze sexuals are using for LeBron, saying, "Oh, it's not the playoffs yet. He can step up." I honestly think Siakam's going to step. But go on.
I'm worried about him against real defenses because he does kind of struggle to just kind of drive into the paint if he doesn't have the mismatch or whatever, and he gets in trouble. And then when he starts getting trouble, then he starts pulling up for threes, and if he's breaking his threes, that's not great. He's got to be working inside, kicking out to Van Vliet and Lowry in the corner, and that's how the Raptors offense actually works. Obviously, transition is a big part of their game. If they can get out in transition, and that's going to be a little bit tough to do in the playoffs. Possibly not as hard against the Nets, but we'll see. So anyway, in conclusion, I think the Raptors, great defense, bad offense, but the Nets aren't going to be much of a challenge. I think ultimately we're going to see a lot of like 90 to 80 games, maybe 85 to 75 if they're really strapping in. Yeah, so I think it'll be a pretty quick series. What do you think?
I'm saying Raptors in 5.
Yeah, okay.
The Nets are going to take a game, right? They're just going to take a game. That's it. But because they're going to see what the Raptors are doing, but the Raptors, their coaching staff, are going to be able to adjust to that. Their coaching staff has been absolutely phenomenal. If Nick Nurse does not win Coach of the Year, I am going to break my phone, and we will never be able to do this again.
I don't know why people care about Coach of the Year. I mean, obviously he should win, but
their coaching staff is absolutely phenomenal. Now, here's why. The Raptors can adapt. What you touched upon with the Raptors defense, that has been lockdown defense. Any guy could basically play any position. They've all been going at it. They've been wholeheartedly going after each guy, each matchup.
Hold on, and I cannot wait to see OG on Karis LeVert. That'll be a fun matchup.
Yeah, but then again, their offense, they're in the top 5 for 3-pointers made in the league this year. They can pull it out. They know what they're doing. Look what they did against Milwaukee with Giannis out. They attacked the post, right? When they have teams that have a stacked post, they take the outside. They know how to adapt and adjust. And I strongly believe that, okay, Brooklyn will take a game. Big whoop-de-doo. That doesn't mean anything. I would love to see the Raptors get their first series sweep in the playoffs ever. Highly unlikely. I'll say 5 games, and wait till we get to the next round. I'm just saying, like what you said with whatever .com that you said, that the Raptors have the best chance of making this to the second round. Oh, yeah. You're goddamn right they do. Are you kidding me?
I was just surprised it was higher than Milwaukee. That's all. But yeah, they're gonna make
Come on!
Easy.
That Brooklyn team. There's no Kevin Durant. There's no Kyrie. There's no DeAndre Jordan. Dinwiddie's got
that's why I said
shoved
sweep.
Up his nose to check the back. It's gonna be a wrap.
That's why I said sweep. They got nobody.
The reason why I say 5 is because I believe the Raps might just relax in one game to get the rest. No. Do we hear load management coming back again? Am I getting deja vu?
No, not in the playoffs. Not in the playoffs. In the playoffs, you load manage by knocking the other team out in 4 games, and then you can rest.
Yeah, because they're gonna knock the hell out of them real quick. Because there's 3 other series that are going on at the same time, and the main contender from one of the other series, Skip, would be Milwaukee against Orlando. How do you feel about that one?
Okay, so I mean, we already called the Raptors sweep, so I'm going to go ahead and call a Milwaukee sweep too.
Exactly.
Milwaukee has not really looked like themselves in the bubble. They've only gone 3-5. Giannis has been a little bit off. Their defense hasn't been quite as crazy as it was. It was actually in the regular season, Milwaukee was way better than the Raptors on defense. And in the bubble, it's been kind of switched where the Raptors have been the amazing defense and Milwaukee's just been good.
The Raptors were the first team to enter the bubble. That's how committed they are. Go on.
Well, yeah,
please.
there's that too. Yes. So I think Milwaukee is. They haven't been themselves, but a lot of that was just because they already had the 1 seed sewn up before they even showed up. They were just getting their reps in. They were just getting practice, treating it as kind of a training camp. So I'm not super concerned about them, and I think when they get back to their stuff, they can be really dominant. And then you got Orlando. Orlando's been pretty bad in the bubble. They've also gone 3-5, but they lost Isaac. Isaac's their only
Talk
guy.
about home court advantage, eh?
Well, not really. But Isaac's the only guy who has a prayer in hell of guarding Giannis, and they lost him in the second game. And after they lost him, they went 1-5. They're really banged up. I don't know if you heard about Mo Bamba. He had to leave the bubble because he has coronavirus complications.
Yeah.
So they lost Isaac. They lost, not the Bamba plays, but they lost Bamba. And then, Gordon, he strained his hamstring on that really hard foul by Lowry, and he hasn't played since then. So they're pretty banged up anyway, and they're not that good to begin with. So I think this will be a pretty quick series for Milwaukee. What do you think?
So Milwaukee 4-0.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Them and the Raptors are going to be relaxing, chillaxing, hanging out. Because look at what Milwaukee brings to the table. Obviously, the number 1 seed. Obviously, they're first in rebounds. Okay, they're first in defensive rating. Overall, not the bubble, not recently, because the Raps are 9-1 in the bubble. 9-1 recently.
7-1.
7-1 in the bubble. They're on a 4-game win streak. I say Milwaukee crushes them. Like, absolutely destroys them. Like, those are going to be games that I probably won't even want to watch because it's just going to be so simple. It's
Orlando's going to average about 80 points in that series.
It's the typical first seed overall against the least seed.
Yeah.
Right? It's just going to be a spanking. It's going to be like when my dad used to slap me around when I didn't eat my dinner. Okay? It's going to be a spanking. Okay?
Yep. All right. I'm going to let that slide, but okay. All right.
But, hey, it was a good time. But you know what? This is what I'm saying. The Raptors and Milwaukee are going to be waiting in the wings for the next 2 series. Skip, I think this year the Eastern Conference is the most compelling, most intriguing, most interesting playoffs that I've seen in years.
Because there's some fun series for sure.
Next up, we got
the second round. Yeah. Miami
and Indiana.
Yeah, no, that's a good series.
Miami and Indiana.
That's a good series.
That's gonna be absolutely crazy. Skip, what do you think about that series?
All right, so I've got Miami in 7. I think this will be a really good series, a really competitive series. I don't really like either of these teams much over the other one. I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to Jimmy Butler is going to take over when it really gets greasy, maybe in a Game 7 or a Game 6. So I'm taking Jimmy Butler to win this series, but I think it's going to go back and forth. It's interesting because Indy actually had a much better bubble than Miami did. Indy went 6-2, and Miami went 3-5. And obviously, T.J. Warren went off. Now, that said, Indy doesn't have Sabonis. They've got Depot, but he doesn't really look like he's back to himself. I haven't been watching Indy's games personally. I've just been looking at the box scores, so I can't really dive too deeply in how they've looked. But just from what I've heard, what I've seen, they seem a bit like a paper tiger to me. They seem like a team that did some damage in the bubble, but probably going to run into some problems in the playoffs. I don't think TJ Warren's a 50-point-a-game scorer in the playoffs. Obviously, I mean, yeah, they've got Turner, they've got some guys, but I look at Miami and I look at Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Those two are the 2 players I'm going to trust in crunch time. And then the rest of the Heat don't inspire me that much. But, Dragic, he's going to do some dirty things, maybe hurt another player on another team, They can rain some threes with their white guys. And
who's that other white guy they have that I love?
I don't know. There's so many. There's Duncan Robinson. There's Tyler Hero.
That's my man.
Yeah. And then Olynyk, I've never liked Olynyk, but he's
Canada, baby.
I mean, he's a Canadian, and he was doing some damage in the bubble, so you got to throw some love his way. Again, I don't like Crowder, I don't like Iguodala, but they'll do some things, and I think they can grease up the series enough that Indy probably is going to run into some problems. And I could honestly see Miami winning this in less than 7, but I'm going to go with 7 because I think it'll be a competitive series. What do you think?
Skipper, I'm exactly on the same page as you, baby. I'm saying Miami in 7.
So far we're 3 for 3. We agree on each series.
I know, right? Oh my goodness! Everybody, look outside. Are there pigs flying?
Yeah. What's this?
Oh my goodness! What's going on? I agree with you, Miami. I think that's going to be a great series. And I think T.J. Warren had his 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to stand up and be able to do what he could do. Black Panther, Oladipo, he is not the same as he was before the injury. He's just you could just see him. I don't know if you, like you said, you didn't watch the games. I've seen a couple of instances of him where it looks like he's lumbering down the floor and forcing. As a former coach, I would pull him out of the game, even though he's one of my best players. I'd let him try. But I do see...
He's still a scorer. He's still a scorer. Sorry.
He is. But I do see Indiana going after Miami, and I do see Miami taking it. But I agree with the Jimmy Butler factor. Because he can take control of a game when he wants to.
Well, we saw it last year in the second round, right? Against the Raptors.
Oh, yeah, we did. That guy can ball, man. I see, and with Eric Spoelstra, and then you have that experience in a championship game with Andre Iguodala, right? To help this team. There's a lot more mentally than there is physically. I see Indiana taking a couple shots at them. I see them pulling up a couple games. I probably see them winning probably a couple of the, maybe game 3, game 4, right? Maybe game 5. I see Miami blowing them out the first game. But I do see this getting down very physical because Jimmy Buckets has an agenda against T.J. Warren.
Yeah, that should be fun. That should be fun when that gets going.
That should be really good.
Yeah.
So I believe those guys are going to push each other. And what I'm wishing is, as a basketball fan, is to see this go forth. I want to see the competition. I want to see them go at each other. I say Miami in 7.
All right.
But there's another game. There's another series which affects your Toronto Raptors.
That'd be a good one.
I've been wanting to see this since last year, brother. Oh my goodness. Philadelphia 76ers versus the Boston Celtics. Skipper, we all know how much you love Boston and everybody that lives there. Shout out to Ryan Berry. We all know how much you love that. What do you think about this series, Skipper?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Philly either, but Boston is my rival in every single sport. So yeah, screw Boston. That said, you gotta pick Boston in this series. Philly, no Simmons, Embiid's a bit banged up. He's messed up his wrist and his ankle. He's gonna play, but that might be a bit of a factor. Philly, it's just they just don't seem to work. They never seem to work. It's always we're going to be better next year. We're going to do some things.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. And they lost some guys last year, and they're just not as good. It's not rocket science. They lost Jimmy Butler, and they lost who am I forgetting? Redick. They lost Redick. So they lost those two guys, and they brought in Horford. And yeah, they're just not as good. That's really what it comes down to. And then Simmons is not going to play. They're starting Shake Milton now. I mean, okay. Their whole problem Yeah, their whole
Who?
problem last year was the bench was garbage, and now it's like, okay, they got Thibault. He's a good rookie, but it's still
Who?
just no. He's a good rookie. He's a good rookie, but good defense, good three shooting, but yeah, they just have a couple shooters off the bench now. It's still nothing that really scares you. Um, and then I'm really interested in just generally the whole size game, because remember in the second round last year against the Raptors, Philly really outsized the Raptors and created a lot of problems. And I'm not sure exactly how that's going to play against Boston. I think they're still bigger than Boston even without Simmons, but I don't think it's going to be quite as much of an impact. I think Boston is going to be able to really dig in and cause turnovers and steal the ball from Embiid and whoever else on the Sixers. So yeah, I've got the Sixers went 4-4 in the bubble. The Celtics went 5-3. But the Celtics actually looked really good. They looked really solid on both sides of the ball. They obviously kicked the Raptors' behinds. They were one of the only teams that was actually
that was a throwaway game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about that game.
Come on,
but
we're not counting that.
But when you're looking at bubble stats, they're one of the only teams that was actually good offensively and good defensively. So they were a really, really good team. And then you start to look at their squad and you get a little nervous because you sort of say, you got Tatum and then you got Kemba, and then if Hayward is Utah Hayward, then they're really scary. And then obviously Brown and Smart on defense. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot there. Now the one thing with this matchup is Embiid versus Tice is going to be a massacre. So Philly's got to lean real heavy on that and hope that they can just hold their own against the Wings and just let Embiid go to work. But ultimately, I think Boston takes care of it. 6 games. They're just a better team. Yeah. What's that face all about?
I'm saying the exact same thing as you.
Oh, we're right Boston on the same page.
All right. Boston in 6, bro.
All right.
Boston in 6. I'm saying, listen, last year when we went through our playoff predictions, I said Boston is built for the playoffs, okay? Maybe they were premature last year, but this year they can actually make a hell of a run, okay? That team has been balling. Who's their big, Skip?
Tice.
Yeah. Who? Exactly. Those guys are
solid.
running.
He's solid, but he's not a big name yet.
Those guys are running the ball. They are working. Like, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Jason Tatum. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown. I'm loving what I'm seeing from them. I honestly think they are the biggest threat to your Toronto Raptors. I'm not talking about Milwaukee. I'm not talking about Miami. I'm talking about the Boston Celtics. I believe they are the biggest threat. The way they play defense, the way they play their offense, the way their players are moving, throwing the ball. It's unselfish ball. I love watching it. I'm a huge fan of unselfish ball. I'm loving the way they're running it. I love what they're doing. I also picked them in 6. I think the way Philly's been, they got no Simmons, so they got no chance, really. And Embiid's hurt, and then what do you got? What do you got after that? You ain't got nothing, right? So forget that noise.
Tobias Harris is all right, but
yeah, okay, like he can lead a team to the finals.
No, he was pretty bad. He was pretty bad last year in that series.
Yeah, exactly. Boston in 6. Skipper. Last year we made our full playoff prediction. This year we're going round by round. Hopefully I only lose 2 series again. I'm glad that But
we're not going to be able to bet on any of this if we're just picking the same teams.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We're on the same page. And guys, we didn't even talk about this before. We just put on a Zoom chat and we just started talking. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, we did talk about it before, but we're on the same page. Okay?
Well, we got to shout it out to the people watching and tell them to make their picks. Like, tell us if we're wrong.
Guys, challenge us. Bring it on, baby. We'll go 6 games. You want to meet me on the court? We'll go.
Someone's got to pick the Pacers. Tell us why we should have picked the Pacers or the Sixers.
Or the Sixers, yeah.
Or
even
I don't
the
think
Brooklyn
anyone's
Nets.
going to tell us we should have picked the Magic, but that's okay.
Brooklyn Nets? Are you kidding me?
The first round is going to go chalk. Let's be honest. The first round is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
But it's going to be great because your Toronto Raptors are going to be waiting in the wings after they wrap up that series. And Skip said 4, I say 5.
They're going to be good and rested for Boston. Good and rested for Boston. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Guys, we hope you guys are more excited about the playoffs than we are. If you have to challenge us on our picks, bring it on, baby. I ain't scared of a challenge. Skip ain't either. Let's go. Okay? On behalf of myself and the skipper, guys, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and
peace.